Acting?
Acting.
Hi, I'm Alicia.
And I'm Tiana.
We're two working actors. We happen to be women.
We happen to be Black. Sometimes that matters.
And sometimes it doesn't. Either way,
we're here to talk about all things acting, from personal experiences
to the industry itself, and of course our love of the craft.
So join us as we chat with each other, as well as the occasional acting friend, as we talk about all things
acting. Hi guys, Alicia from Acting with T Alicia here, coming at you live. I'm not live. I'm recording this in advance. I don't know why I said that. Don't worry about it. But just know that I'm here, and I'm here with you. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about memorization techniques and just some things you can do to help nail down a script. And this has been on my mind because I just got home from rehearsal, and today was our first day as off book as we could be. Now, we're not completely off book. This is only our third or fourth rehearsal, so we're not completely off book. We're nowhere near completely off book, actually. But we were good, and we weren't referencing the script as much. But it got me thinking. My wonderful director gave us this list of memorization tips and tricks, and I just want to go over them with you guys. I just want to go over them. Memorization is so important, especially for stage. For film, you should still be off book. If you want to be a serious actor, you should still be off book, right? But you can kind of take it scene by scene with film. You know, like you don't necessarily have to be off book for the entire script at the same time, unless you want to be. If you got it like that, you got that. But for stage, you need to be off book. You need to know the entire play, front to back, sideways, backwards, up and down. You need to know that thing, right? It's important. So I wanted to go over some of these tips and tricks and just kind of share with you what I do, just how I've seen, like my thoughts on it, and my experience so far, just because this is my first stage play. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. Yeah, so let's get into it. So my director, she gave us this awesome sheet called Memorization Tips and Helps. And I don't do like most of these, but there are a few on here that I do. So I just wanted to kind of go over the ones that I think are the most helpful. Starting strong with number 1. Write out the words you must memorize. You will probably need this several times, but it will help tremendously. The act of writing provides very strong memory reinforcement. The hand-to-eye brain-ear quotient can be very important. Now, this is my go-to, my number 1. You give me a script, it's the first thing I'm doing, is sitting down and I'm writing out my lines. So, for example, this is my notebook where I've been writing my lines for this play. And as you can see, I've written out each of the lines. And the way I do it is I break it down in sections. So this is for pages 8 through 13. And I write out each line, and I make sure and I read it over. I say it out loud as I'm writing it, because it does make a difference. If you say it in your head, it's not going to stick as long. But if you say it out loud while you're writing it, I don't know what it does, but it does something, right? And then, as a little extra reinforcement, what I like to do is I like to go in and I like to, no, what the hell? Sorry, I forgot I wrote out the whole thing. That was not what I wanted to show you. Let me see if I can find the page that I actually want to show you guys. Hold on, bear with me. Hold, please. All right, here we go. So then what I do is I go back and I rewrite it again, but this time I write it in cursive, because something about the extra motor skill that's required to write in cursive really lends itself to helping the words stick in your brain even better. So between writing in cursive, and speaking it out loud as I'm writing it, I am almost immediately word perfect. I have to practice it a few times for it to like really stick, but it's the memorization, it does what it needs to do, right? So I love that. That's my number 1 go-to technique. First and foremost, always gonna work every time for me. Another tip on here that I really liked is it often helps to outline what you must know by learning a sequence of nouns or ideas or keywords. Then, if you muff a line, you can quite easily go on to the next idea or keyword and therefore accurately go on with the poem or passage. Now, what I love about this technique is that, and what kind of the essence behind this technique to me is knowing the context of what you're saying. If you can understand what you're saying, you're going to know what to say in the scene. So even if you mess up a line, you can continue going because you already have the essence of what you're saying, what you're doing in the scene. So, for example, earlier I messed up a line. Hold on, I just had it pulled up. And I just got to go back to it. So, earlier I had a line at rehearsal today. Now, wait, are you aware that I don't even know for sure what my assailant looks like? That is the line verbatim as it is written in the script, right? What I said during rehearsal was, now, wait, I'm not even sure what my assailant looks like. Not the same sentence, but the same meaning. The same meaning is getting across as to what I'm saying, why I'm saying it, etc. Right? So even though I wasn't word perfect, I didn't have to stop and say, oh no, guys, sorry, I messed up a line. I could keep going into my next line because I knew what I was saying and my scene partner knew what I was saying so that they would be able to pick up where they needed to pick up. So if you have the essence and the context of what you're trying to say, and highlighting keywords really does help. Like, for example, when I first sat down with the script, I kind of went through line by line and just picked out, kind of the keywords that were, in my mind, the essence of the sentence. So, for example, I won't read you the whole sentence, but I have one that's like, from my door, dot, 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 is only, dot, 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 when the time came to go, dot, dot, dot. And like what that does in my brain is it helps me link it to the next thing that I'm going to say, much like this memorization technique. So I really like that one. Another great tip on here, some people record what they must memorize and carry the recorder around with them. This permits them to listen to the poem or speech over and over for reinforcement. Now, this is one that I personally don't do, but to me, it is still a great tip. It's still going to help you nail down your lines. It's going to give you an opportunity to listen to the words and follow along with the words so you could be practicing and speaking out loud and saying, oh, I didn't get that right. I didn't have that right, or the order of the words wasn't right, whatever it is. And it's just like it's another technique to kind of help bake it into your brain. Again, it's not one that I personally use. I tried it. It didn't resonate. It was a little too much work for me, if that makes sense, but whatever. If it works for you, great. Fantastic. Another one that I really liked here. Let's see. Make sure to be on top of all new, harder words so they roll off your tongue as if they are old friends. Now, this one is for, maybe when the verbiage, the lexicon in the play, maybe the writer's writing style isn't necessarily as traditional. Think of like some well-known writers that are known for having a very specific writing style, right? Like think oh, why can't I think of his name? Why can't I think of his name? And he's known for like Brian, our acting coach, was literally just talking about him in class. Point being, if the writing is not familiar to you, familiarize yourself with the parts that are especially foreign, right? Like, or the words that are especially foreign, that are not as commonly used in your everyday language. Repeat them until they feel natural, so that you're not stuttering, so that you're not hesitating, so that you're not like trying to figure out what you're supposed to be saying. So, for example, in this play, we have one word here, clandestinely. Not a hard word, but maybe it's not a word you use every day. So it's going to sound a little weird if you just randomly say it. And one, you don't know why you're saying it. Two, it doesn't feel natural saying it, and it's going to stick out in your line, right? So if you practice and try and make it sound as authentic and natural to you, it's going to help the flow of your it's going to help the flow of your performance. And on top of that, it kind of harkens back to the last tip, or one of the last tips, whatever. But because it's specifically a word that you're not as familiar with, or maybe a word that you don't use as often, it's going to stick out in your mind and it's going to help you remember. So say you completely forget the line that clandestinely is being used in, but you know the word clandestinely. Okay, great. You can get there. You might not be word perfect, but you're gonna know the line that you're supposed to be saying, or like the essence of what you're supposed to be saying, so you can kind of piece it together and just get to your next line or get to your scene partner's line, what have you. So another tip here that now this one is another one that I love. Keep reciting the passages to yourself. Once you know the words fairly well, you should be able to recite it to yourself whenever you have a spare moment alone. In the shower, while cooking breakfast, getting dressed, waiting for the bus, etc. I love this tip. This is my second go-to tip, okay? After I write everything down, after I know the words, after I am word perfect, because you want to be word perfect, you want the words to be in the order that they were written, I will start reciting it to myself all times a day. And this is actually an acting tip that our coach Brian gave to us way back when. It's one of his favorite tips, actually. And he always references it specifically because of Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey has mentioned in interviews that when he's running lines and he's trying to learn his lines, he'll just start reciting them at any moment of the day. So while he's driving, while he's washing dishes, while he's cleaning something, while just doing anything, he'll start reciting them. And so our acting coach Brian brought that to our attention. And ever since he said that, it's one that I've taken up. So once I know my lines, I'll just start repeating them over and over and over to myself. Heck, I'll even be sitting at work sometimes, and I'm sitting there, nothing much is happening right now, and I'll just start reciting them in my head to myself. And that helps me get the rhythm of them down, and to make sure that I'm hitting all, like, I know what I'm supposed to be saying, what I'm saying, what I'm supposed to be saying. And the next tip here is recite everything again as naturally as if you were having a conversation. Pause only at periods, colons, semicolons, and commas. You can easily use each pause to breathe. Just try to recite each thought as naturally as possible as if you were speaking to someone one on one. So this one kind of ties into the last tip of just reciting your lines over and over again. But if you try to recite them like you're having a conversation, what I like about this tip is that it will help you find moments that you maybe didn't see before. So say like you have your lines down, you know your lines, and you've been saying them, but like say there's one sentence or two sentences that still for whatever reason aren't feeling quite right. Like they're just not coming out right. You're just like, you can say it, you're doing the job, but it's just not feeling truthful to you. Like, that feeling. Actors, that feeling of like when you get a line and you say it how you want to say it and you're conveying the emotion that you want to convey. It's a great feeling. And if you're not getting there, this tip specifically can help you get there, because not only are you memorizing your lines, but you're finding moments and opportunities, and you're finding the rhythm of the character and the heart of the character when you do that, in my opinion. So that's probably tip number 3 is what I would say. And then next tip, if you hit a difficult section, say to yourself, I have to remember this. For some reason, after you've done this a few times, it's like putting a bookmark in your brain on a piece of text. And I like to use this tip. I don't use it often because sometimes my brain doesn't listen, whatever. But what happens is your brain will literally stick it in your mind. Like it will not let you forget it. It's almost like tricking yourself. All of these are psychological tips. Memorization in general is just like trying to trick your brain into remembering something, right? So I like that. I like that, and just like saying, or I like that tip, just saying like out loud to your brain, telling yourself, I have to remember this. Surprisingly, it works. And then the last tip that's not written on this paper, but that my director says every single rehearsal. Read your lines before you go to bed. Literally, before you lay your head down to go to bed, read your lines. Whatever it does, whatever the psychology is, because probably, honestly, okay. As you know, I studied psychology in college. I talk about it enough. And one of the classes I took was neuropsychology. So the way I'm understanding it, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, is that when you recite it and read your lines before you go to bed, because your brain is already like in a lower state, like brain waves. I don't know any technical language. I'm not even going to try and speak the jargon. So this is going to sound however it sounds, but when you're going to sleep in your brain wave pattern starts changing, right? Like you have what is it, alpha waves, theta waves, whatever it is. And that's, that they control essentially the different, what is it called? What is it called? What am I trying to say? The different stages of sleep, right? So I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, the way to my understanding, the way it works is that because you're reciting the words right before you go to sleep and your brain is already kind of in an altered state just naturally, it accesses a part of your brain. I can't remember what section is responsible for memorization, and it's not really important. I just wanted to seem smart. But that area of your brain is more susceptible to information that's being taken in, and that's why you shouldn't scroll on your phone before you go to sleep. But listen, I don't cast stones because I live in a damn glass house, okay? Um, but because your brain is more susceptible, it's something about it just like helps you remember your lines. So I have done that since my director recommended it, and sure enough, it did help. It did help. Overall, I mean, I've had a ball, and the thing with memorization is that you just have to do it. You have to dedicate the time to it. It's not something you can bullshit, especially for a stage play. But again, you should be off the book regardless of the project, unless it's voiceover work. That's a different ballpark. Um, but you should be off book. You should be memorizing your lines. And the key to doing that is just putting in the time. Just putting in the work, putting in the effort. You're not going to get there if you don't do the job. And if you take your time, you will learn your lines. They will stick and you will show up to your performance and know what you're doing. And if you mess up, that's okay. We're human. We're allowed to make mistakes, but the first step is putting in the effort and putting in the work. So this has been a really interesting experience because again, these are my first plays. I'm actually we're almost to the opening date of my first play. We are off book for that one, and it's been so fun watching that process go from cold coldest of cold reads all the way to now. And I remember probably like our fourth or fifth rehearsal for that show, one of the actors, he was struggling to remember his lines and he was just really beating himself up over it. And like again, this was early on in rehearsals. Like we had just started. And I went to him and I was like, "Hey, be easy on yourself. Like relax. Like you'll get the lines. You have time. You'll get the lines." In fact, he was already doing very well at that point. He just wasn't word perfect and he was forgetting some things because again, it was only our fourth or fifth rehearsal. Um, but I was like, just take it easy. Like you'll get there. You already have the essence of what you're supposed to be saying. The words will come to you if you keep putting in the work. I've watched him come along throughout the run of this show, or not the show, not the run of rehearsals, and it's just been so fun to see how you'll notice less and less lines are getting messed up, less and less words are getting swapped out. Like everyone is becoming tighter and more word perfect, and there's something so satisfying and cathartic about that process. Um, I don't know, man. I just love acting. I love what I do. I want to do this for the rest of my life in some form, and I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life in some form. So, anyway, that's all I had for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. This was so fun. I hope those planes weren't loud and obnoxious. We'll see when I play this back, right? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait to chat with you next week. Bye. Hey guys, editing Alicia here. So, while I was editing the episode that you just finished watching, I realized I forgot the most important part of the episode, my performance of the week. Hello? So I wanted to hop back in really quick and share with you guys what I think my performance of the week has been. So this week I rewatched The Devil Wears Prada, and there was an actor. His name is Daniel Sanjata. He played the fashion designer. You know what's crazy? I looked up his name right before I started this video, but I did not look. I forgot to look at his character's name. It doesn't matter. He was the fashion designer that Anne Hathaway's character, Andy, goes to meet. She goes to his party. If you remember that scene. Y'all, He had 5 minutes on screen and he ate it the fuck up. That right there should be a leading man. First off, he's gorgeous. Just genuinely an aesthetically pleasing human being. Very handsome. Second off, acted his ass off. He had 5 minutes in a dream, acted his ass off, stole the whole scene, owned the whole scene. I enjoyed every single second he was on camera, and it's actually a crime. I went to look at his filmography after I watched the movie. It is a crime that he has not been in more things. I think he was a little bit before his time. I'm really hoping. It looks like he's still acting. He has an updated headshot. He has a little bit of gray in his beard now, so like now he's giving handsome silver fox daddy. You know the vibes. Anyway, Daniel Sanjata. He had 5 minutes in The Devil Wears Prada, the first one from like 2004. He owned it. He ate it up. Highly recommend everyone go back and watch that movie just for his scene alone. Anyway, alright. Lord have mercy, I'm tired. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait to see you next week. Bye!